Welcome to the B.rad podcast, where we explore ways to pursue peak performance with passion throughout life, without taking ourselves too seriously. I'm Brad Kearns, New York Times bestselling author, former #3 world-ranked professional triathlete, and Guinness World Record Masters athlete. I connect with experts in diet, fitness, and personal growth, and deliver short breather shows where you get simple, actionable tips to improve your life right away. Let's explore beyond the hype, hacks, shortcuts, and sciencey talk to laugh, have fun, and appreciate the journey. It's time to be rad.
The way to truly become 100% confident in your abilities or your ability to achieve something is to do. What's up, players? Love these questions. I only skimmed them beforehand because I want to just be spontaneous, from the heart, unfiltered, authentic, and let's bang them out. Starting with Max, what were some of the positive and negative comments from your past coworkers when you announced you were leaving career? Well, I remember the epic quote from my director, the boss man, and he was so exasperated when I told him I was retiring from the firm and pursuing a career as a pro triathlete that he pretty much laughed in my face, or at least scoffed in my face. Whatever, dude. I'm going to prove your ass wrong. But he did make a beautiful parting gesture, and he said, whatever happens, I want you to know that you always have a job here. You can always come back anytime. And I thought that was so generous and kind, and so I reported it to some other people in the know, and they said, of course he's going to offer you your job back because they spent thousands of dollars training you, and you quit after only 11 weeks, so it's in their interest. It wasn't a kind gesture at all. It was like, get your ass back here, and you owe us one. Anyway, number 2, were you 100% confident with leaving your job? And was there a long time where you felt nervous and wondered if you were making the right decision? Oh, that's such a great question. And I think we all wrestle with that one way or the other when we make big, major life decisions, don't we? And the idea of being 100% confident it's kind of ridiculous. We're programmed to think that way. Like, you got this, girl. You can do it. You're awesome. Thanks, Melissa. You're such a good friend. But all that chatter really doesn't add up to anything. And the way to truly become 100% confident in your abilities or your ability to achieve something is to do it. Get me? There is no other way. So I only became 100% confident that I could cross the finish line and win a race at that moment when I crossed the finish line and won the race. So I had hope, I had positive energy, I had positive belief systems and all that stuff. But of course, I was nervous at times and uncertain and worried. And again, we all go through this stuff, but what's really cool about the athletic world is that it's incredibly black and white. So when you succeed, you learn these lessons of success and failure in the most intense and dramatic manner imaginable with any career, right? I didn't get the promotion because I'm such a brown noser and I am so sucking up to the boss in the conference room. I got the promotion because I beat everybody's ass and got to the finish line first. Or alternatively, conversely, when I get my ass kicked and have to board the airplane flight home and think about it, it's because I made errors in my training, my preparation, and what have you, and then I have to go sit with those and change course, okay? So that's number 2. No, I was never 100% confident until I became 100% confident. But on a final note, and I'm spending a lot of time on these first questions because they're so profound and important for all of us. You can chip away at this, right? So when I had a great workout, oh my goodness, I would start to get these inklings that I could race with the top guys in the world and that anything was possible and that I could be a magnificent upset that no one believed in except myself, because here I am sitting at the finish line after bicycling 140 miles in training and going really fast and my legs feeling really great, especially in the final 20 miles, just pumped up on adrenaline and realizing, hey man, I am about to launch into the big time. And that's an awesome feeling. And I think the same feeling goes through the mind of the lawyers taking their final bar exam review challenge from the review course and getting a high score. Then they high five and say, can't wait till the bar exam next week. I think we possibly might maybe sort of have a chance to kick some ass. Okay. How'd you feel the first time you rode your bike 100 miles with no calories? I felt great. And I realized that some of this hunger, satiety patterns of the human are psychological, right? So the hormone ghrelin is the preeminent hunger hormone of the body. It spikes hunger. You know, when your stomach growls, ghrelin is what gets your stomach growling. So now you'll remember the science forever. It's GHRELIN. So when ghrelin spikes, this prominent hunger hormone, you get intensely hungry. But guess what? The ghrelin spike will last for about 20 minutes and then it'll go away. And so if you don't eat, your brain, your body, your ketogenic production in the liver, all these things will kick into gear because they're going to say, I guess we're not eating anytime soon. We better continue on and manufacture our own glucose via gluconeogenesis. That's the conversion of lean muscle tissue or ingested amino acids into glucose for quick energy. So when you're stressed, anxious, and you're, quote, not hungry, that's because the hormonal system is overriding this, and you can go on fumes for 13 hours at the hospital when your family member is in crisis and so forth. So when I realized that I wasn't going to be eating any food because my friend threw all my food away at mile 1 on the bike ride, I said, all right, let's do this. Number 4, do you believe, quote, if you don't eat processed foods, you can't get fat, end quote. And that's a quote from the preeminent anti-sugar crusader of the world and best-selling author, Dr. Robert Lustig of UC San Francisco. He's a pediatric endocrinologist, one of the true thought leaders in the health and progressive dietary habit space. He said it. I pinned him against the wall. I'm like, dude, that's pretty heavy. Are you going to stake your career and your reputation on it? He said, absolutely. So I've heard a few people come back at me and say, guess what? I can get fat eating ribeye steaks and scrambled eggs and spinach salads. You know, like there's people that love food so much and they can eat so many slices of bacon that they will get fat. But I'm going to say I almost entirely agree with that statement. And the more we explore this concept that the processed foods in the modern diet are the things that are disrupting our metabolic function, our hunger hormones, our satiety hormones, and our ability to manufacture energy internally, especially to burn fat, the more it holds true. So when you ingest crap food, it's not the 300 calories of the Twinkie that's making you fat because you ate 300 extra calories. It's because that Twinkie prompts the release of endotoxin, namely lipopolysaccharide. It releases a poison into the bloodstream because your body's being poisoned, literally. And this endotoxin circulating in the bloodstream interferes with the body's ability to burn fat, to manage energy internally. So what happens when you are not good at burning fat? Even though you have a ton of fat on your body, you have plenty to burn, but you can't burn it well because you are consuming a toxic diet. What happens is you need some energy. You can't burn fat, so you are prompted to consume more junk food. And anyone who has opened a can of Pringles and finished the whole can, just like the commercial jingle goes, realizes that the consumption of more of junk food, processed food, begets the consumption of more processed foods. Number 5, what are your favorite energy boosting foods? Energy boosting, I guess anything that's nutritious and nutrient dense is going to be energy boosting. So I want to qualify the question there because we get hit with a lot of marketing messaging like take this energy boosting protein bar and it's a highly processed food with a lot of chemicals and things on the label that you can't pronounce. So it's not energy boosting unless it's natural, nutritious, and easy to digest. How about fruit as a nominee for this category? Fresh fruit. So things like that. It's got fiber, it's got water content, it's got tons of antioxidants, phytonutrients, and it gives you that natural source of easy to digest carbohydrates. Even raw honey, which I've been enjoying recently because it's easy to digest. So I'll consume that in and around my workouts where it's difficult to sit down and digest some scrambled eggs or a steak or something that's heavy. So I'll take a spoonful of honey, just like the old cereal commercial, before I go out and run on the track, and my stomach can handle it just fine, and I have some energy boost in my body. Number 6, what's your favorite healthy snack to grab on the go? I'll say the raw honey. I like to chew the honeycomb too. It's really fun. So you buy the honeycomb, take a big spoonful, and then you're left with the beeswax, and then you spit it out. Anyway, number 7, I've read that taking magnesium and vitamin D can help with mental health. What are your thoughts? I believe there's a lot of wonderful research that getting sufficient sun exposure is extremely beneficial for mental health, and it is also the way in which we manufacture vitamin D preeminently, with diet being a very distant second and supplements being a very distant tied for second. So we want to expose large skin surface areas of the body to direct sunlight in the times of day and times of year of peak solar intensity in your area. And in a lot of places in North America, such as the New England states, you have 4 or 5 months where you're not really able to manufacture vitamin D nor get tan. So if you can tan, that means you have vitamin D potential. 20-minute sunbathing session in the peak of summer is going to manufacture like 10,000 IU of vitamin D, whereby a heavy supplement capsule is going to be 2,000, and even a heavy dose in the diet. The highest source of vitamin D is oily cold water fish. So like a spoonful of cod liver oil will only be 1,000 IU or a tin of sardines. So getting out in the sun has all these other hormonal and biological benefits to the organism that directly associated with mental health. So I'm going to go there instead of promoting a supplement and connecting that to mental health. I think there's plenty of marketing that we're going to feel better with a pill. So I'd rather say get yourself out in the sun. Number 8, sometimes when I overexert myself, I get lightheaded and shaky. What's the best way to combat this? That could be a sign of low blood sugar, right? But it also could be a sign of overexerting yourself. And I'm being wise guy here because we hear this a lot about like cramping. Why am I cramping? Oh, you need some potassium. Oh, you need to take this these special pills or this special electrolyte drink. May very well be beneficial, or at least not destructive to take whatever you're taking. But one of the main reasons for cramping, this has been heavily studied, and I've studied this research a lot because we created the Primal Fitness Coach certification course and had a whole section on cramping. It's such a mystery. The main reason for cramping is overexertion, doing something that you're unfamiliar with. So the best way to combat getting lightheaded and shaky and or cramping or just feeling like crap after a workout is to not overexert yourself. So tone down your energy expenditure, especially when you're doing something new and unfamiliar, and allow the process of fitness to happen gracefully, naturally, and without having these, I would call it a setback when you feel lightheaded and shaky after a workout and you have to lie down and rest the rest of the day. You're better off building up with things that you can handle that are within your radar. And then over time, guess what? 30 days or 60 days later, you'll be able to do that same workout that you tried to do and got lightheaded and shaky because you weren't ready yet. So be patient with the process of fitness. Number 9. You talked about getting away from everyday stressors of life, working less, doing more hobbies. What do you suggest for people where that's not an option? I can't work less and do more fun things because I have Bill and 2 toddlers at home. If I work less, it's a negative effect on their lives. Well, that's a very important statement to reflect upon for all of us. And I appreciate that. So I'm not going to give you a wise guy answer on this. No way. However, let's all sit back and reflect on how we can do the best we can with the tools and circumstances that we've been given. So if you are working at a law firm, doing the housekeeping and janitorial services at night while everyone's home sleeping, and that's the best you can, and that's the best job you can get right now because you don't have a law degree, then you do what you got to do in life, right? If you have a law degree and you're cleaning trash cans at night, then we got to reflect and say, hey, is there a possibility of improving your life and your circumstances by leveraging and maximizing or increasing your skill set and your training? So whatever's going on right now, Dr. John Demartini talks about this a lot. He has a great podcast and a lot of tapes and trainings. He's a personal growth specialist. He says, wherever you are right now, it might not be your dream career, but it is a stepping stone to what's going to happen in the future. You are on a lily pad right now, and you're about to jump to the next lily pad when the time is right. So I want you to open your eyes, your ears, increase your awareness, and dream of better possibilities, and leverage and position yourself and scout around for better opportunities. So if right now you're getting mistreated at your job, they're underutilizing your skill set, they're not appreciating your contribution, you spend your spare time looking around for another opportunity that's going to be more favorable. And if you have a free moment or a lunch hour, you go out there and interview with another firm that's a career path that you deserve. So that's my answer right there. And I also feel like when I do get pushback on things like diet, and this is a aside, so the person that asked the question, I do not want to have any, I'm not pointing this at you at all. But some people say, I'm on a limited budget, and so I can't afford to eat that healthy. Well, why don't you go to bradkearns.com and download the Carnivore Scores food ranking chart. It's a tiered ranking system of the most nutritious foods on Earth. And up there at the very high rankings are things like oily cold water fish, which are the least expensive fish that you can buy. So cans of sardines, mackerel, canned salmon, very, very affordable, very nutritious. Same with liver, and the other organ meats are extremely inexpensive, even though liver is virtually undisputed the most nutrient-dense food on Earth. When you talk about a micronutrient analysis, whether or not you enjoy liver or are deciding to be vegan, whatever, it's hard to dispute that you're talking about a very, very nutritious food that you can purchase for a couple bucks a pound rather than $13.99 or $18.99 a pound for a steak. So with diet, you do the best you can, and you can do great on a low budget. Let me give you a $50 bill and send you to the Saturday Farmers Market and see how well you do with heaping piles of nutritious produce and other things that you can get there, not to mention at any quality grocery store. Okay, so enjoy that time with the toddlers. If your career's not taking off like crazy right now, guess what? There might be time for that later, and I really appreciate people who prioritize that time with rearing children, because what else can be more important? Certainly not a career. Thank you. Hey, Brad, what are your thoughts on saunas, hot tubs, and steam rooms? What do you think is the most beneficial? Sitting in a steam, hot tub, ice bath, or sauna? Well, you threw in ice bath, so that's sort of a different category of biohacking or health or temperature therapy. And generally speaking, the sauna, hot tub, and steam room are generating an instant relaxation effect without any stress response of doing something that you don't want to do. So the cold tub, conversely, is of course generating a stress response, but it's also generating a dopamine spike because you are overcoming a challenge in your mind and in your body to stay in, right? First, you got to overcome the resistance in the mind. You got to jump in the tub, and then you're going to stay in for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And so by doing so, by persevering through a difficult challenge, you get a prolonged and sustained dopamine spike without a corresponding dopamine crash that you get from other things that deliver a dopamine hit, like using recreational substances, engaging in instant gratification on your mobile device, and all the other things that bring us dopamine spike and corresponding dopamine crash. That's the stuff that we kind of want to think about moderating or getting away from in hectic, high-stress modern life where we're overdosed with dopamine triggers and we're not doing enough stuff that is difficult, challenging, requires perseverance, and thereby delivering a beautiful, sustained hormonal reaction where we feel not only the intense pleasure from a dopamine spike, but also the contentment and satisfaction that comes spiking hormones like serotonin, oxytocin. So engaging in rewarding social experiences and cool stuff like that. So that's what the cold therapy is all about. It's a instant stressor followed by a prolonged spike in mood-elevating hormones. With the hot tub, steam, and sauna, what you're getting is an instant sort of a trigger or capability to put you into a blissful, relaxing state. And part of that is from the stress response, because when you step into a hot room or hot water, it is a stress to your body. Your body now has to thermoregulate. And so when your body is faced with such a stressor and you prompt a desirably brief fight or flight response, cool things happen, which is that corresponding release of mood-elevating hormones. And so we talk about stress, and we talk about cortisol in a negative context because we have an excess of chronic stressors in hectic modern life. So a mean boss who's not appreciating your skills, difficult, challenging toddlers, even though it's rewarding in the long run, but there's going to be things that are going to spike your stress hormones repeatedly, mean-ass boyfriend, all those kind of things, extremely difficult and challenging workouts, like as mentioned in a previous question, as well as a pattern of workouts that are slightly to significantly too difficult. So this is chronic stress in modern life. The body responds much better to brief stressors that spike stress hormones, and then because you get out of the sauna after 12 minutes or 15 or whatever, you recalibrate back to homeostasis with a net positive benefit. Let's think about, conversely, what the heck's happening if you jump in the cold tub and you stay there for 27 minutes. You're going to die, or you're going to be sent straight to the emergency room. Same with the sauna. You're not going to go in the sauna for an hour and 42 minutes, or there's going to be big trouble. It's going to be an extreme stress with all kinds of adverse health consequences, including this extreme example. You won't survive, right? Okay, so taking those appropriately timed temperature therapy can deliver wonderful benefits, especially in the comfort and convenience of modern life where we no longer have thermal stress. So a little bit of thermal stress now and then is great for the body, but walking around every day in the winter in a t-shirt thinking that you're doing biohacking, that's just going to throw some more chronic stress onto the pile. And I've learned this because I got super into cold therapy. I did it every single day. I worked up with my adaptation to the point where I could do a record time of 6 minutes sitting in a tub full of 39-degree water. Good for you. Clap, clap. It was fun. It was, interesting. I wrote about it. I created an online course about the whole thing. But then I realized, man, I don't really need to do this every single day, and I don't need to stay in that long. So now I dabble in cold water therapy, a few days a week for 2 to 3 minutes. And actually, I put my legs in, but not my whole body on other times after workouts. So I'm talking about like that true cold water thermogenesis where you dunk yourself and you stimulate the adaptive response. You don't want to overdo that either. I'm going to try to wrap up Mac's questions, and then we'll do another recording for the other ones. But these are really great. Next, what are your biggest changes in your mentality now as opposed to when you were a collegiate or a young professional athlete? Well, when it comes to my athletic goals, Zero, man. Zero changes in mentality. I have some great highlights from my career as a professional triathlete, winning the national championships and getting on ESPN and getting interviewed and getting on the cover of the magazine. And when I crossed those finish lines back then, I raised my arms and I was so excited and happy and satisfied from, all the hard work that I'd put in to get to that point. But today, as an old man with gray hair, and I'm sneaking into some high school track facility to practice my high jump, when I clear that bar today in the empty high school stadium, I scream for delight when I land in the pit, and it feels the exact same in my body as to when I was winning the championship race on ESPN. It's a goal that I pursue with great passion and intensity, and the satisfaction is exactly the same, even though the stakes are lower. But are they lower? I mean, who all should we compare to overall besides ourselves, right? So the stakes are high for me, man. I'm serious about this stuff. But again, it's not dominating my life and all those things that have different parameters back when I was a triathlete. 12, I had a friend who drank nothing but water for 3 days and lost a lot of weight. What are your thoughts on water fasting? I guess, once in a while, it might be a good experience for cleansing, for psychological resilience, to overcome your hunger habits, or overcome the slightly to significantly disordered relationship that we all have with food, eating, and meal times, right? So it's a way to take control of your dietary habits and your choices and all those things, rather than just succumb to marketing hype and influence and peer and cultural influence when you bounce around and pull into fast food. That said, it's a very sensitive subject. I'm not a professional, and when someone does think that they have a possibly disordered relationship with eating, what would be the best suggestion is to seek professional help rather than go and try a 3-day water fast because some dork recommended it. Okay? What are some great snacks for toddlers? Oh my gosh. I saw something where they were given like the animal organ beef jerky sort of thing, like something to dispense really nutrient-dense jerky foods. And there's so many, you can give them anything that's, fresh and nutritious, just same for the adult, right? And get them started and get them habituated to healthy, natural, nutritious foods, because they will also habituate to sugary crap as you dose them with, for example, a berry-flavored Yoplait or whatever that's got tons and tons of sugar. Remember, the little toddler, if the toddler's 20 pounds, that's 7 times less weight than the adult, or 9 times or whatever. So a little Yoplait, when they have 6 spoonfuls, that's like 42 spoonfuls for you, okay? So, be strict with what you give your little kid, man. Give him a chance to succeed in life, please. If you drink energy drinks, what is your favorite? The B.rad Superfruits, of course, is my favorite. Look it up on Amazon. I just launched this tropical fruit powder. So it's a very natural and light-tasting energy drink. Quite a bit different from most of the stuff that you see in a can that's been manufactured in a laboratory with chemical flavorings and artificial sweeteners with intense sweet. This tastes like very light, pleasant mixture of tropical fruits. It's kind of red-colored beverage and got all the health benefits of these exotic tropical fruits. What's the healthier option, almond milk, oat milk, or normal milk? Almond and oat milk are highly objectionable, especially to people in that category with digestive sensitivities to things like anti-nutrients. So oats have something called theanine, and almond has high levels of oxalates. And if the almond milk is raw, I think most of them are, you're getting a huge concentrated dose of oxalates, which are known to hamper digestive function if you're sensitive. Hey, if you've had oat milk every day for the last 15 years and you feel fine, that's great. And when I say normal milk, well, normal pasteurized, homogenized, low-fat or non-fat milk is a disaster. It counts in the junk food category. But if you can get high-fat, natural, organic milk, and ideally raw milk, which you only find at like a health food store or farmer's market, that's an extremely nutritious product. It's very minimally consumed. Most of the time we consume homogenized pasteurized milk. And research shows on lactose intolerant that the process of pasteurization, homogenization kills the enzymes that help you successfully digest milk products. And so if you're lactose intolerant, like 80% of the planet, adult planet, you want to stay away from normal, quote, milk and look for raw milk would be vastly superior to almond milk or oat milk. I would also look at coconut milk or macadamia nut milk because those have less of the objectionable agents in there. So that's a 30-minute hit you're going to digest right there. I'm going to get to the rest of the recordings in a subsequent one so we don't get bored. And thank you so much. Great, great questions.
Thank you so much for listening to the B.rad podcast. We appreciate all feedback and suggestions. Email podcast@bradventures.com and visit bradkearns.com to download 5 free ebooks and learn some great long cuts to a longer life, how to optimize testosterone naturally, become a dark chocolate connoisseur, and transition to a barefoot and minimalist shoe lifestyle.